What up, y'all? Hey, so it's been a while since I made a YouTube video, and I wanted to touch base with everybody and let y'all know that I'm still here and still making smoothies. I guess I want to talk a little bit about falling off the wagon, since that's what happened. It was my intention when I started this YouTube channel to share my journey in raw foods. I definitely want to be 100% transparent about everything. You know, I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that shows a perfect world where, you know, their life is all flowers and butterflies, because that's not the reality. And I also don't want to be one of those raw vegans who calls myself a raw vegan 100% of the time when I'm not. It was my goal to be 100% honest from the beginning, and that's what I've been doing. So for 6 months I was 100% raw. You know, I really was. I hit the 6-month mark, and you know, life happens and some stresses hit me that I won't go into detail about, but suffice to say that it caused me, or it allowed me to make the choice to use cooked food as a mechanism to kind of numb my feelings. And this is not something that is new to me. I've struggled with this for a very, very, very long time. I know that this isn't the case for everybody, but I do think a large portion of people use food to numb themselves. And that's what I did. And I only thought it would last, you know, maybe a day or two, but it went on for like 2 weeks. I've been going through a lot of challenges with my own personal life. I just wasn't ready to go back to the raw. You know, the funny thing about raw food is it really awakens your truest self, and if you're not ready for that, things in your life are going to shift, things in your life are going to change, your relationships are going to change, and you know, if you don't have a good foundation down, or if you don't have an idea of what you want already, you know, you got to be ready for a dramatic shift in your life, and sometimes that can be really positive, and sometimes, you know, that can be really difficult. I think for me, you know, it was a combination of both. I've definitely made some realizations recently that I don't need to go into detail about because it doesn't pertain to raw food, but basically I realized the struggle to be fully raw in a cooked world. And while I know it is totally possible and totally simple for a lot of people, I've struggled with it. And it is my goal to be 100% raw, and it is my goal to only eat living foods all the time. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know if that's going to happen, and I'm trying to, and I'm trying to make it, you know, the best that I can. You know, but at the end of the day, it's my choice. It's my choice to put what I want in my mouth when I want. One thing I've realized that I need to incorporate this time around, which I may not have done as well of last time, is to have a spiritual practice. And this is something that that actually Fit Shorty Eats said in one of her videos. Link in the description below if you haven't seen her videos. Her and her man friend travel around Southeast Asia trying exotic fruits, and really interesting stuff, really entertaining, and really informative on the fruit, the exotic fruits. If you're interested in checking that out, go subscribe to her. I'd highly recommend her channel. But she said something that really resonated with me, which was that one of the things you need to do when eating a raw vegan diet or a fruitarian style diet is to have a spiritual practice, is to give yourself the time to allow that which is already kind of happening and awakening flourish. And that's something that I kind of, ignored and haven't pursued. And I recognize that, when you eat raw for a really long time, just the world around you changes, and it's very hard to be in sort of normal social situations. And that's why you see, I think, a lot of fruitarians and raw vegans just, they just check out from the normal world or whatever. They quit their jobs, they move abroad, they go to the tropics, all these different, huge life-changing things, I think are really just because it is incredibly hard to do the kind of things you were doing before, because they don't resonate with your spirit anymore. And I don't think they ever did necessarily. And so if you're not ready for that, it can be really difficult. And I certainly don't think I was, and have since decided that I am definitely needing that. Another thing that I wasn't doing right, that I never really shared with anybody, because, I didn't think it was important, and I didn't think that, it would show me in a good light necessarily to the YouTube world or the internet world or people watching that I know personally, my family and whatnot. But like I said, I'm trying to be 100% transparent here and just share my journey, because, this journey is not always easy, and I want to show that to people. I want to show that, that you can still get through it if you mess up, and that you can still pursue this if you're not doing it 100% the right way, maybe, and that there are trial and errors, and there are mistakes you make, and there are lessons to be learned. So, for a long time, I've been a cannabis smoker, and in the beginning, I think for about a month, I kind of totally stopped smoking. But like I said, when the spirit started to kind of awaken within me from the raw foods, and I started to feel my emotions more, and I started to feel my spirit more, and my desires more to connect with nature, to connect with God, because that's really been the motivator behind all of this for me, is a spiritual connection with God, the universe, your soul, whatever you want to call it. That's been the motivator, 100%, and I haven't practiced anything other than raw foods to get there. And I know it's a holistic journey, and it can't just be about the food. There are other things you need to do. You need to walk through nature. You need to meditate, do yoga. Things like these really help to center your mind, body, spirit, and balance yourself as you become more sensitive to this crazy world we live in. Because it is crazy. We've gone so far away from nature that once you start to awaken to your true nature as a human, as a spiritual being, it becomes very difficult to be able to feel okay with, being around cigarette smoke, or being around alcohol, or being around, a bar where people are drunk. Just these things that are just like very like surface level human, just like negative, in my opinion, negative things that that are just kind of not in touch with our truest self, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I was using cannabis to kind of numb that, and to kind of just kind of get through the day. My job that I have is very like soul crushing, and right now that's something I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to look at options for how to get out of this job. I really hope my boss isn't watching this. And you know, a lot of people would say, "Oh, just quit your job, man. Just what's stopping you from just go, you know, up and quitting and just, you know, tomorrow, just like start living the life you want." And I get that, and part of me really feels that and understands it as an important thing to do, but that's just not really my style. I like to have a little more stability in my life, and I feel like, you know, I've been that person before. I've been homeless on the beach. I've quit my job on a whim and had no money, and you know, that's just not something I want right now in my life. You know, I have a path that I see for my future that doesn't really include just being sort of free like that, I guess. I mean, there are many different ways to be free, and having no money and no possessions and no responsibilities in that sense isn't necessarily my my path. And so for me, I'm saving up money right now to eventually quit that job and find an alternative means for making income, hopefully in a way in which I can travel. So making money, you know, online, you know, selling products, selling services online is something that I am currently developing and working on. But it's all a process, and I'm allowing myself to go through the process with patience and with consistency, and with the belief that this will work out, and with the intention that this will work out, and with the clear vision in mind of what it is I want. I don't need to go into detail about that. It's more personal than sort of what I usually share here on YouTube. And so basically, I just wanted to share, you know, that this is a long journey, and if you are getting into this for the first time and you find all these struggles with, you know, getting along with people at your work and your family members or friends that are doing things that are not in line with what you're doing, just know that, like, it will be a long process for you to find what works for you, and that may or may not be 100% raw. I still believe 100% that this is the way we're designed to eat. We're designed to eat the fruit from the trees, and we're designed to live in nature, and we're not designed to have jobs and to have cars, and that is sort of the ultimate goal for me. But I also recognize that we've created this society, and you know, we're in this modern world now, and we need to work with what we've got, and we need to be realistic too. And that means something different for everybody, but I just wanted to share my experience and my journey. So I'm back on the raw food now, keeping it 100%, and I intend to do so for the remainder of the year. You know, my goal initially was to stay raw for an entire year, at least, to see if it was something that I could, A, handle, and B, you know, something that I still desired after a year. And what I found is that after 6 months eating fully raw and then going back to cooked food, it's just, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. And something about even eating like really simple foods like baked potatoes, or like a boiled sweet potato, or yam, or taro, or poi, which is like such a healthy food for so many people. And I totally get that and respect that. But there's something about cooking it, just the initial cooking, that changes the chemical molecular structure of these foods, that doesn't allow the same type of vitality and energy to come through. And I don't know what that is. I don't think that science can necessarily prove that right now, and I don't think it ever necessarily will. I think it's just more of a spiritual, intuitive experience, and some people are on that level and some people aren't. And that's okay. I think that, like, initially this world needs to become vegan, and I think that, like, that will do a lot of good in the world and move us in the right direction. And so I want to be on that train just as much as I am on the raw train. For me, I prefer raw vegan. I've always preferred raw vegan, and that is my goal and my intention for the future. So yeah, just wanted to connect with you all, let you know I'm still here. I'm making an awesome smoothie right now with some mango and papaya. Let me get some banana. These are the bananas. So anyway, the fruit here is still freaking awesome. It's still mango season. I'm stoked. You know, the mangoes are amazing here. I like this one I got was probably like a 400 or 500 calorie mango. It was like this freaking big and juicy, sweet, and delicious. And anyway, I'm stoked. I'm going to be making more videos more often. I want to share this journey and my experience with you in a 100% transparent way. I will be at the Woodstock Fruit Festival this year. Totally beyond stoked to go to that and meet like-minded people who believe in this lifestyle and who live it 100%. You know, I think that that's really important if you're trying to do this for real. Like, you know, you gotta have those people, you gotta have that community, and there's only so much that, like, there's only so many ways you can connect online with people that kind of, you know, is great and everything, but at the end of the day, you know, we all need actual human connection, you know, face-to-face connection. And anyway, I'll end the video there. I hope you all are doing well. Like this video if you liked it. Leave me any questions or comments. Let me know what kind of content you want to see from me. I live on Kauai, in a beautiful island of Hawaii, and if you want to know more about Hawaii or where I live or the fruit here, let me know. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already and follow my journey. And that's it for now. Peace out.